Oh my goodness. How did that 3 minutes go so fast? I came back in the room like, what? Hang on, I haven't even got the mic ready. God, goodness me. I thought I had more time. Okie dokie. Right, where are we? Lights. Camera's working. Audio, hopefully, is all good. All right, music. Coffee needs honey. Right, I'll be back. I'm just getting some honey. Coming back, I haven't abandoned ye. Oh dear. Okie dokie. No sound. There is sound. There's definitely sound. I can see the sound bars moving. Are you trolling me? I'm 73% confident that the sound is working. Oh goodness, how's everyone doing? Oh yeah, this is going to be an interesting one today. So I was thinking probably about, I don't know, half an hour ago, like, what on earth are we going to do today? And then I thought it'd be quite fun to try and speed run this. We've got probably just under a couple hours. We're going to try and do a logo from scratch. And we're going to try and mock it up on a, well, we've got to design a business card and then mock it up on a business card. And we're going to stick all within the Adobe software as well. So we might use Dimension. We might go straight from Illustrator to Photoshop. There's some really cool techniques. If you were part of the course members meetup the other day, that was like with the woodwork stuff. That was like more advanced, isometric, adding textures and all that stuff. Adding business cards is like that, but a lot simpler. So if you are looking to create your own mock-ups from scratch for whatever reason, you want the licensing to it, you want to distribute it, or you just want full control over the textures and the finish, this can be a pretty good way to do it, and it is actually incredibly easy as well. Adobe Dimension. So Adobe Dimension was Adobe's, I think, their first sort of foray into dedicated 3D software. So Photoshop did have some 3D features that they've since discontinued. Illustrator's got some. There's a few 3D features lurking around. Dimension was the first proper 3D app, and then I think that's still going, but I think it evolved and became the full 3D suite. So I think it's like, is it Substance? I've not tried those. There's like a suite of apps that do 3D stuff. But so I think Dimension then sort of got put to the side, and it's still there. It gets updates, but they have like a dedicated 3D suite. But it's still very useful. It's very, very useful, and it's got a great, easy UI as well. So if you are getting into 3D, that's how I got into 3D, was through Dimension. I'd say it's not, it's probably more, I'd say, like, if you're starting 3D, I think it's probably, at least for me anyway, it's much more beginner friendly. So if you are starting 3D, I'd probably start there. There's loads of other 3D software out there that's like ridiculously powerful. You can make movies and 3D animations and all sorts of stuff that goes way beyond me. But I got loads of old work and stuff I did in 3D and Dimension, and then I brought that into Photoshop and worked on it some more. Even some compositing. So I would actually, what did I do? I downloaded loads of models from Adobe Stock and then brought those into Dimension. Built a scene in Dimension rather than doing it in Photoshop, but then exported that 3D render into Photoshop and then started doing the sort of compositing stuff on top of it, which is a bit different to what I do now, but it was really fun actually. Just because you get to move the 3D objects around and the perspective of the scene always stays the same. Yes, there's a bunch of different 3D tools. that I've used and had to play around with. I'm not massive on 3D. Like I can do enough. I sort of use it when I feel like I need to. So if the route to getting the result I want goes through 3D, then it and that just becomes an easier option. It's like, all right, I'll make it in 3D. Like my I should probably mention the course. I've got my Illustrator and Photoshop course at dansky.com. I've pinned a link at the top of the chat if you do want to check it out. But I don't know if I've got them anymore. They're probably not on there. On the old Dansky site, I used to have the product boxes for the courses. It was like a purely for mock-up purposes. Sorry, for visual purposes. But the box artwork I mocked up in 3D software because it was just easier. Hey, Raquel. Right. First of all, we need a brief. Or has anyone got a brief? Anyone got a business that needs a logo? We'll just throw it out there for now. We'll just see. We'll see if anyone wants a logo rather than me just picking some random thing. I don't know. Maybe there's someone in the chat who needs a logo for something. If you have a business or a side hustle or something you're thinking about doing. Because we're on the clock here, so we've got to get the logo, the business card. The logo will be the hardest. Business card will be easy, really easy. The mock-up will be quite straightforward as well. Ideally, not design if possible. Like an actual, like an industry, like something that's not just design. Make a logo for a website that's meant to teach house chores and skills. What sort of teach to younger people, to children? I mean, flipping heck, I could use that. Put my kids through that training. If not, we can do a ChatGPT one. It's just been a while since I thought I would throw it out there and just do a free logo. And basically pimping myself out as a logo designer. That's what we're doing. Hello. Or we can come up with some ideas. What about a fitness brand that needs to feel fresh, not like the usual generic brand? I mean, you can write Soloki Limited as many times as you like. It's not going to make a difference. Because we have to redesign the logo. So what? Okay, what's the logo for then, Kyle? I want to see you take another logo. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. We're going to have to pull together like a super speedy brief. So give me as much information about... I mean, I quite like the idea, actually. Teach house chores and skills. So yeah, who's it for? Like the logo, company name, if there is one. If there isn't one, we'll come up with one. House chores and skills. I mean, that's the different. I like that. That's actually a really cool idea. And who's it aimed at? Is it aimed at parents teaching their children house chores and skills? Or is it like I could sit my two kids down and say, kids, I want you to spend an hour on this website here. Complete modules 1 and 2, and then you can tidy the house to a professional standard. Now that's an idea that I can get behind. Ooh, cartoony vibe. Cartoony involves illustration, which I can do, but it takes a lot longer. So it needs to be fun. Andrea, this is probably better suited to you. Your style was the first one that I thought of. Andrea's got like a very sort of, I don't know what, how would you describe it? Like very, it's more like illustrated, like really good with characters. Yeah, it just looks really cool. I think my style is more sort of cleaner, not necessarily corporate, but more, I sort of try and make everything technically precise and line up. I suppose you could say corporate, but I've probably done less work in my career for things that are aimed at children. Basically what I'm trying to say is my work is less fun. I mean, it's an interesting idea. Yeah, it is an interesting idea. I mean, why not? Why not? Let's just we will give it a go. So what am I typing in? What am I? I'm going to ask ChatGPT to kind of come up with a, what does it have a name? A comic book vibe. Oh, flipping goodness me. If we had the whole like nearly 2 hours, we could probably. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my design work at Thief was done for more sort of businessy businesses, and I think my sort of style leans quite nicely into that. It's not all corporate, but it's just like very clean. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Not that Andrew's style's not clean, but Andrew, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I use straight lines a lot, something like that. Okay, what's the name? What's the name? What's the name? I guess you can make your own. Okay, right. Oh, sod it. So right, I need a 1 paragraph design brief for what are we saying? A website that teaches children and young people, and maybe a few adults as well. maybe I should do this website. I'm terrible at staying tidy. Teaches children and young people the skills to do chores and clean. I'm happy that's your name. However, henceforth, they will be timed out for a whole minute. Now you can think about what you've done. Anyway, come on, we're running out of time. Kyle, help me out here. Young people, the skills to do chores and clean. What we cleaning? Hey, Moosh. Kyle, what are we cleaning? I need words. Okay, right, so do chores, clean, and I'll just put general house chores again. I mean, I type things wrong and word things terribly, and ChatGPT just fixes it. So I don't know, Moosh. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. Okay, hang on, cooking, laundry. You guys are gonna have to help me with this one, because to try and bang this out in half an hour or so is gonna be interesting. Poppy's Hoover. I don't know where it is. She's probably hidden it. She'll catch me mucking around with it. Hey, Christopher. And yeah, lead productive lives or become a valuable member of society. Okay, that's probably enough. Sweeping the floor, cleaning the sink. Yeah, I think general house chores, cooking, laundry, cleaning. All right, let's just do that. We'll see what it comes back with. a practical learning platform designed to teach children and young people essential life skills through clear, engaging lessons and simple step-by-step guides. That sounds cool, right? The website will focus on everyday tasks, cleaning, cooking basic meals, doing laundry, organizing spaces, and completing common household chores, helping young users build confidence and independence at home. I mean, I think I can do maybe one or two of those things, so I should definitely sign up to this website. The design should feel friendly, encouraging, and easy to navigate. Okay, so I'm probably gonna go with this. I'm not gonna necessarily lock myself into a comic book style, but we're just gonna sort of keep it loose, and we'll play around with some ideas in a sec. The design should feel friendly, encouraging, and easy to navigate. Yeah, of course, friendly, encouraging, approachable, everything like that. Using visual guides, icons, and short lessons to make. Okay, yeah, so I could sort of visualize how the website would look. It's gonna have like, it's gonna be fun. Lots of color, so the logo might end up having a few colors in it. Accessible for different age groups. The overall goal is to present life skills achievable. Yeah, okay, so what age range we talking here, bud? Also, can I get that in a super condensed bullet list? Because when you're working on something as a designer, you want to have that checklist handy so you could just quickly look over and just check you're on track. A paragraph is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to keep sifting through that. So something like this. Okay, does that sound about right, Kyle? 7 to 16. Teach essential life skills. Cleaning, cooking, step by step. Tone friendly, encouraging, confidence building, colorful, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, so yeah, I think that's good. I don't even know what Gen Z is. Am I Gen Z? Am I Gen Y? X, Y, Z? I got no idea. I get muddled up with all the terminology these days. Yeah, aim towards teens. So I think, yeah, well, I think 7 to 16 is probably good. That puts Leo, my eldest, squarely in the middle. Eli's going to be 7 soon. I feel like he's been stuck at 5 for like forever. But he'll be 7 in about a year, so then we can put him to work, which would be amazing. We are millennials, Dan. Thank you for the clarification. Oh dear. Okay, does that look like a good brief? Kyle and everyone else, does this look like something we can work to? I hope so, because we're running out of time. This is great. Now I need super condensed into like literally 6 bullets I can reference quickly. The name is a Filipino name. What is the name? That's a really good point. We haven't got a name, have we? What is the name? If you write it out, I don't think you, unless I missed it somewhere. This is really handy, yeah. So we could just keep condensing it. How do you say that? Goa PH? Goa PH? I'm Gen X. I love that. Sounds like a flex. God, you millennials. As she gazed down upon them. Go out and feed me like to do. Okay, Goa PH. The sudden capitalization of PH is making me incredibly nervous. Could we just go with Gower and call it to do just for the sake of my capitalization OCD? That's how you pronounce it. Gawa. Gawa. Gawa? Gawa. Gawa. Anyone who's just joined, I'm not having a breakdown. I don't speak the language. Gower will do. Okay, right. Fantastic. Name is Gower. Boom, there we go. Thank you, Jupiter. Let's go into Photoshop. This is probably going to be the hardest bit, actually, because we've got to actually come up with some good ideas in not a lot of time. Gawa. Okay, right. Let's turn the screen recorder on just in case something spectacular does somehow happen. Oh, where's my stylus? I haven't even connected my tablet yet. Flippin' heck. Oh, this is whose idea was this? I'm so tired. We did like a 2-hour gym session today. And I'm exhausted. But I did get to eat double chicken after. Because I'm a cheeky sausage. So cheeky chicken. Paul, don't get any ideas. Right. For sketching, I always use this one here. The lovely soft pressure flow brush, 30% flow. And then we get like a nice sort of sketchy style brush, kind of like a pencil. Dan learns Filipino. Yeah, just about, barely. Someone says something to me. Gawa? I'm desperately trying, yeah. Thesis output on the chat. I don't think we'll need it if you're not sure as well. Actually, no, yeah, sure. Yeah, if you link the website or tell me what the website. Actually, no. Can you? No, you can't post links. I don't think. Can you post it in the Discord? And I'll have a gander while I set this up. So what we're doing is grab this from there. So we're just going to have this to hand that we can reference, which is going to make my life hopefully a tiny bit easier. And obviously, normally the logo design process would be extrapolated considerably more, but just for funsies, we're doing the speed run version, which is kind of fun actually. I quite like it. It applies unnecessary pressure to me for everyone else's amusement. And it's nice to have a challenge as well. Polarius cats. That's quite nice. That does roll very nicely. Yeah, no pressure, all the pressure. Yeah, literally, Andrea. Oh dear. Right. I need the web address. Oh, Reese, that is a flipping delicious logo. I just saw the lighthouse thing in Discord. Oh, have a heart and a flame. That was rather tasty. I need a website link, Kyle. That will actually help. Just get a flavor of what's going on. Would sharing our post feedback survey? Oh, I don't think we've got time for that. If you just throw me the website link, I will have a look. Or maybe I can search it myself. Gower PH. Oh, I've got an Instagram. Is that there's like some sort of helmet thing? Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's there. Let's have a look. In the Discord. Where am I looking? I can't see it. I cannot see it in the Discord, Kyle. I can't see links in YouTube chat. It filters them out, I think. Yeah, general chat's fine. If you just paste it there, it'll go through. I think it's partly real, Moosh. We've sort of taken bits and pieces that Carl's told me. We've ran it through GBT and we've got like a brief. So I think it's mostly Suitable. Are you legend? Thank you. Oh, wow. Let me just bring this up so you can all see. So what do we got? Gower.ph. Oh, okay, cool. Let's see. See, this is why it's interesting to see, because it can really... my goodness, those stars are a bit much. It really kind of can change things quite a lot. God, this is going to be flipping tough. Okay, so we've got some characters. Okay, so we'll see if we can do something that's kind of fun and cool and maybe comic booky, but mix it with my style as well. So, where do we start? That's a good question. I mean, none of this is following a normal process, so we're just going to have to throw ourselves in. Just don't click the contact information. Oh, okay. Whenever someone says don't do something, it just automatically makes my brain want to do the opposite. I'm sorry. No, we're good. You're good. Kyle unmasked. Right. Focus, Dan. Okay, so 7 to 16. I suppose an element of this will be aimed at the parents as well. You know, I can't imagine, maybe I'm wrong, a 7-year-old's going to be logging onto the website. So the parents will probably be the target audience as well. Teach practical independence and responsibility. Okay, skills, cleaning, cooking, laundry. Okay, so we could do a logo that has like a few different things. So in my head, I'm imagining something like a triangle and 3 different things, and they could be connected somehow. So it's not just one thing: cleaning, cooking, laundry, organizing. Everyday chores, step by step learning. So how would you, if we were going to go the icon route and represent it, how would you summarize all of that in one logo, in an icon, in a shape? Visually, how would you represent it? I suppose a lot of this stuff, cleaning, cooking, laundry, could come under chores. So then, I mean, let's look up chore. Is there a chores icon? How would chores be represented? This is quite a good thing to do. Icons are great because typically they're a very simplified form of a thing. So checklist, that's a really good one. A brush, that's very, very common. Cooking things, pots, pans, brushes. This is quite a nice style. Ooh, the sparkles as well. That could be something we incorporate. So some stuff is probably a bit like the sponge. I mean, that could be a misshapen cheese, you know, it could be. A lot of these have brushes. These are just some good icons. Brush, brush, brush. Thumbs up hand, checklist, a tick mark. Back up. The glove is cool as a glove. This one here. Yeah, I love the little face style. Again, it's got sparkle, so maybe the sparkle idea is quite a nice touch. Checklist, brush. Yeah, see, these are really simplified icons as well. We've got a bucket. This is quite good. Ah, the house icon. That's pretty cool as well. Let me go back to the brief. Yeah, so instead of showing the actual chores themselves, you've got the house being the structure, and then that one kind of had the star up in the corner there. That's interesting. Skills, yeah, skills is like a very general term. but it's interesting to see. Okay, yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of like people. So like kind of an avatar, a person. This sort of thing. We've got like the brain and maybe not the light bulb. And I don't think brain is necessarily the right one. Cog. We could do like a cog. I'm not going to draw a cog, but that looks more like an egg with a face, but it could be a cog. This is something that you could do as well. You could take two things and cross them, almost like a couple of crossed swords. So you could take a brush and cross it with a frying pan. that's meant to be a frying pan. It looks more like a lollipop, or a tennis racket. Yeah. So skills is a lot more general. I feel like I resonated more with the other stuff, the chores stuff. Let's type in the word household. This is handy. So things inside the houses. This is an interesting one to reference. I like the checklist idea. It's probably not as fun. Checking off things. Skills. I like the idea of it not just being housework, but being skills. This is interesting, whatever this is. Sort of like an isometric. I saw that a bit different then. I was kind of like, I saw it as like a progression box. So you check, check, check. That could be interesting. Or we could have different boxes, or we could do something that's not really relevant, but do it like a bit of a Rubik's cube. And instead of showing individual skills, we could allude to there being many skills. Actually, I think I quite like that idea. Different colors as well. So have a neutral color for a lot of them, but then some of them could be a different color, or we could do it going upwards. So maybe it's showing a progression. I think that could actually look quite fun. Hey, Kerry. Oh, you're welcome, Kyle. You're welcome. Yeah, it's good. It's a good platform. I love it. It makes it a lot easier when you need to edit things as well. Yeah, that. I really like that. Not the person so much, but just the whatever it is. And that's the thing as well. If we did that, we could then turn it isometric, which would be pretty cool as well. Yeah, not necessarily an obvious Rubik's Cube. Is the brief on the Discord channel? No, that's a good point. I will chuck it in there now. I will just chuck it in. There we go. Yeah, so it wouldn't be like quite a literal Rubik's Cube. I mean, we could do that. We could. It's more of how a Rubik's Cube, each cube could be a skill. And there's something about that. No, what am I doing, Dan? There's something about that idea I really like, actually. I really do like that. And I'm running out of time. So I don't really have a choice to not like it. No, there is something about that idea that really resonates with me. I can see this logo having multiple colors as well. Maybe a simplified version of that. Maybe a simplified version, actually. So we'll do a 2x2, just so it scales a bit better. And it's almost like the building blocks of life. I don't know. And then this one, no, this one here, maybe the main one could be red. And then we've got those sort of comic booky colors. Very primary color, actually, blue and yellow as well. They were on the website. So maybe we could have a blue one and a yellow one, or I don't know. Or we have red, blue, yellow there. I don't know. And this would sit as a perfect hexagon as well, which might look quite cool in that isometric view. I feel like that might look quite cool, and I feel like it would be very suitable versus me. I don't know. Trying to draw a house with a frying pan in it. There probably are lots of cool ideas you could do there. You know, the doorway here is a rectangular shape, so you could probably turn the doorway into something and then merge the two elements together. Like, I do like to find those sorts of little clever ways of designing things. Yeah, I mean, this is like a game of noughts and crosses right now, but by the end, it would look a lot more fun. And you could separate it out as well, so you don't have to have, or you could have the different blocks like this. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but I do like this idea. So I think I'm going to run with it actually, and hope it works. So let's grab this. In fact, let's quickly mock it up and we'll get an idea if it's going to look terrible or not. So this will be pretty straightforward. We're just going to do a 6-sided polygon, rotate it 90 degrees. And we're just going to find that center point, which is, where are you? Where are you? Is it there? I think it's there. And then we'll just connect this out. So we've got one block, and then we just need to divide them in two. So if I cut that and paste it back in, do the same on this side, should be able to add some more. And then distribute them evenly. Like this, and then I've just got to line them up. And then for this top one here, I've just got to find the angle of that, which I think is 120 degrees. Because we've taken a square and we've divided it into 3 segments. 360 by 3 is 120. So I think that line is 120 degrees. Or no, sorry, what would it be? No, it might be 60. Sorry. So if that is 90 degrees, 120 would be down there. So up here would be 60. Is that right? I don't know. Let's try. We'll try and rotate this here. We'll go 120. Yeah, it's 120. Okay. Raquel's probably laughing at me, trying to do math. There we go, and it snaps. Lovely. And then we can reflect that centrally, and then we've got to do the same down here. So we're going to shuffle that one down. And just sort of breaking these into individual lines, just so I can get the alignment right. And then that one reflected over as well. And then I've just got to connect everything up around the outside. What about a glove with 2 lift fingers being cleaning tools? With the 2 lift fingers or left fingers? I think we could do, but we're getting more into illustrative territory. And I think with the time we've got for me to do something more illustrative like that, when it comes to hands and human body parts, gloves, heads, hands, legs, like, it isn't my strength. And I could do it, but it just takes a lot longer. And I want to get to the business card and the mocking up stuff as well. So it's less of a let's just do the logo in the stream, and more like there's a whole process that I'd love to get through. Right, so these ones on the outside, I need to select those. We need to connect this up clean now. How are we going to do this? Let's grab everything. We're going to make a note of the width. We'll make a new hexagon. Six. Rotate it. We'll match the width. There we go. We've got another. That's going to be like our outer border. And then what I can do is just get rid of these outer lines. And then bring this one back in and everything's connected up. So that should line up perfectly. Just check we haven't got any stray anchors. I think we're good. And then we'll flip that one over. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you sign up for either of my courses, the Photoshop one or the Illustrator one, you get a bonus course included, which is an extra 90-minute kind of mini course. And it shows you how to design 40 different icons in Illustrator. And these are things like umbrellas, stars, clocks, light bulbs, notification bells, things that you might look at and go, oh, how can I create that? I'll pen tool it. Honestly, don't. Use specific processes, basic shapes. And it's kind of designed really not just to show you how to create things quickly. Like you might want that specific icon and that's great. But it's more about actually you can create a lot of icons really simply with just these tools. You don't need to pen tool anything manually. You just need to combine shapes and subtract one shape from another in certain ways. So you get that as a free inclusion anyway. Right, let's make this a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to make it a bit more fun by rounding the corners off. Not that fun, but do you know what I mean? You've got sharp corners, is a bit more corporate. And when you do tend to round things off a little bit, it can make it more fun. Maybe we could round, maybe we could get away with, we could round it even more, yes. So we're going to make it even more fun. There we go. You see the difference there? We've gone from a little bit more serious to a bit more fun. And depends what we're going to do with color. Color. What was the palette you had on the website? So we got the red, blue, and yellow. Why not? I like the yellow. That is a really, really nice yellow. I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder. That's all I heard then. So, okay, let's get some color. Color. Let's try and mimic that lovely yellowy orange color. Got to be careful with yellow because sometimes if you're going to, well, just don't have text in yellow unless it's big display text because it can be quite hard to read. That's a tasty color. And then we'll go with a red, maybe a slight hint of pinkiness and not too saturated. That's quite cool. And then what was the other one we got? Some sort of blue. Not too serious. Like, yes, that's what I want. Maybe this one. Yeah. So it's sort of not fully saturated. We don't want to go all the way to the right and just make it too overpowering. We're just dropping it back a pinch. And then we've got the blue on the end there. I haven't got any music on. What's going on? Come on, Danny boy. Oh yeah, Trivium it is. Okay, so we've got a palette. This is going to sort of work with the website, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think we should probably get some text in. wonder if we were to do something like this. So it's not just like Rubik's Cube, it's kind of other building blocks as well. It's a little bit simpler, I think. We could actually make it out of different color blocks then. So this block could be one color, this could be another color. And then we get our palette in there. Oh, you're very welcome. I was looking at the beginner course, but I guess they're now merged into one. Yes, so the courses are merged into one, but if you said, Dan, I really just want the beginner course, I can still make that available. Like it makes no difference to me. If you want one of the beginner ones, just send me an email, hello@dansky.com, and we'll sort something out. Because they were like that a while ago. I just merged them into one for a whole multitude of reasons that I've gone through before. Namely, it just makes it a lot easier. One course, one price, one sales page, one link. You just get everything then, from beginner to advanced, the only Illustrator or Photoshop course you'll ever need. Because if something isn't covered in the course, you get support from me anyway. So if you have a specific question, I'm there to help. So, like, if you got stuck creating an icon, for example, sometimes it's just easier for me to record a quick video and send it over Discord and be like, hey, this is how you do it. Right, text. Text. Okay. Oh, I should probably pull up my font guide, shouldn't I? This is what we did on the previous stream. So I've added some words in. I've still got to go and tweak all this. But this is a font guide. This will be freely available soon, actually, once I finish it up. So what are we doing? We've got a playful for this particular logo, playful and friendly. So characteristics, sans serif, unsharp, rounded corners. There we go. So this is me using my own thing. Rounded corners, again, fun. So I think whatever font we pick, it needs to have some roundedness to the corners. And if we're trying to strike a balance between friendly and playful, what was the brief? We should probably go back and quote that. Friendly, clear, encouraging, easy to navigate. Right, so I'm thinking sans serif, I'm thinking slightly rounded. Encouraging. Maybe a hint of confidence. So what's that? Bold weight, wider forms. Not necessarily, we don't have to go wide, but we could have take the bold from it. So let's I'm going to try and use Adobe Fonts because I might be able to filter something and I am up against it. So if I can filter out rounded, yes, good. And then I could type in the text. I'm going to type the Gawa and that in caps as well, just because some fonts look great in lowercase and not so good in caps. It just depends. So what other characteristics are there? Weight. I'm not going to specify too much because I don't want to rule out a font that might be good but slightly off. But this is going to give me a good bunch to go through. That's interesting. What about that? Hyperspace race variable. Ooh, variable. That's good. That means we can do some cool stuff with it. Yes, that could be the one, hyperspace race. Hyperspace race. That sounds. I like that. That rolls right nicely. See, some of these are a bit too fun, a bit too sort of freeform. Yeah, we don't want anything too corporate. This one's a bit too condensed. What's that? Router. Bit too thin. Just not sure. Some of these, honestly, I go through them and I'm just like, I just don't like the shape of the letters. So there is going to be that sort of personal bias from me, whether I do or don't like something. This is cool. Probably just maybe a little bit too sci-fi. Some of the letters, like the G in particular, with the slanted top and the sort of rounded but not rounded, squared off shape of it. It's a little bit too sci-fi. I want to try this hyperspace one. Yeah, okay, so I've got all the weights here. If I just pick one, is it variable? Yes, right. So variable fonts let you do this, which is cool. Hyperspace. Actually, this looks a little bit sci-fi. That doesn't quite look like the one that I picked. Maybe is there a rounded one? Oh my goodness, there's loads of them. Oh, flipping heck. Oh my goodness. Capsule, right. So I think this is the rounded one. There's a lot. It's cool font. Let's let's go not all uppercase. But I'm not entirely sure if this is the right one. Well, we could always go and customize it. Not for the moment. No, I'm focused on Adobe stuff at the moment. I've partnered with them for this year, and there's just like the Adobe stuff is just what I know through and through. So I think it's interesting what they're doing, but I'm gonna stay more focused on the Adobe stuff because it's just it's what my courses are. My students use it, I use it, and it's just enables me to do pretty much whatever I want to create in it. Like that's nice. I think I like the A in that. That really sort of nice, smooth spur's quite nice. Menko. Oh, I haven't used it. No, purely just because, like, it's one of those things I haven't had a need to. I think, like, I've just been using Adobe software so much at this point, and I know it's so sort of inside and out. Like, I don't know everything, but I know enough where I'm able to create what I want to create. There just isn't really a reason for me to go off learning other sort of loads of other similar software, you know. What was that font called? Menko. Let's try Menko. Yeah, you see, changing the text gives it a completely different flavor. Yeah, exactly. I think as well, because I sort of tripped, stumbled, and fell into the whole creating content stuff as well. It meant that, oh, I can just learn Premiere Pro for video now, and then that connects to Photoshop nicely, and then I'll use After Effects, and then that connects, and Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, and Premiere, they all play nicely together. So, whether I'm designing or creating content, it just makes it easier for me to just bounce between those different apps, and they all play nicely together these days. Like it wasn't always that way. Like I remember the days, this is going back years now, where I don't think you could copy and paste from Illustrator and Photoshop. Something like that, I think. We're going back many moons now, but these days it's just so seamless. That's probably a bit too. Do I like that? I don't know if it's a bit too rounded. Do you have any advice for a graphic designer who's struggling if they want to stop but love it at the same time? My first question would be, what is it that makes you want to stop? If you enjoy it, then it's not going to be that you don't enjoy it anymore. So is it finding work or the financial side of it? Um, yeah, if you tell me a bit more about what it is you're struggling with, and maybe I can say something helpful. So I feel like if we're going to go comic booky, I feel like this one might fit a bit more, but the G might be a little bit minimal for me. So I might just grab part of this, flip it round. And you got to be careful doing this, because if you don't have experience with typography, like I'm not a typographer, but I've got some level of experience. But if you've got no experience and you start hacking fonts to pieces and drawing custom bits without any sort of idea what you're doing, you can mess up the lettering from a typographical point of view in ways that you wouldn't necessarily realize. I've done this before. Speaking fully from experience there. Whereas I'm pretty confident doing something like this isn't going to muck it up. So it just takes it from being a little bit more minimal, which could work in some cases, but in this one, just trying to decide if the kerning's a bit off. Feels like the G is ever so slightly. Oh, yeah, it's hard to know, really. No, I think I'll put it back. Right, where are you going? I'll chuck you up there. Oh, we've got an uppercase version as well. So, Gower. Or, just to throw another idea out there, what about if we turned it to something like this? Oh, yeah, it doesn't. No. What do we think to that font? Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not sure it is the one, but you can see it's not bad because we've got the rounded corners. So you have some sort of synergy between the style of the mark here and the text itself. I do like this, whether it's finished form or it then evolves to be something else, I don't know, but I do like the representation of the building blocks of the different skills. It doesn't always need to be literal. In, you know, if we're doing a cleaning business, you can sometimes do that, and you could put like a brush and a cooking thing and a blah blah. But sometimes it could be a little bit more abstract or representative of the process of it from a different perspective. Or you could just do something with the lettering and have the word gawa written in a certain font and not even have a mark at all. I think if this were going to be an app, though, this would be something that would look quite good on an app icon. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very clean. I think color would be, you know, this feels like Jenga. I think color would be quite important to get in here. I'm not sure about the border. I like the linear style. This is, just to say, this is more my style. I like monoline logo designs where the line weight is consistent across the whole thing. So this is very much playing in my playground. I don't know why I said that, but that's what I'm going with. Playing in my playground. So we're just going to click inside each segment, and this will define it as its own shape, and then I can go in and add some color. So let's first of all define. Actually, no, I've got my swatches. What am I doing? I've got some colors. Let's grab these. We're going to go and add selected colors. They get added as global swatches, which is Lush. K for the paint bucket tool, and we could just start plonking in some color. I think I'm going to have the yellow quite prominent because I like that. And then a little bit of red up there. Boop. See, now I don't know if that looks too... I don't know. No, I suppose it is aimed at potentially 6 to 7 year olds. I was going to say it feels like maybe too childish, but it is aimed at young people. But it's not like, it's not too childish and kiddie. Like, it's hard. I'm trying to like sort of balance and making it look fun for 7-year-olds, but for 15, 16-year-old, they're not going to be like, ugh, this is too childish. Could you contrast with the yellow? How do you mean? What, change one of the other colors, or? Maybe it's the primary colors that are making it feel a bit younger. So maybe if we had a slightly different palette, it would feel a bit more mature. So if I go and pick, like, I don't know, some sort of orange color for that, and for the other one, that's probably going to be a bit similar. Yeah. Or does anyone have any other suggestions for a completely different type of palette we could do? Let's just try something totally different. Or I think the colors, but I mean, yeah, I nearly forgot that actually. That is the colors of the website. When it comes to the border, we could leave it black. I'm just going to whip the website up again. Oh, perfect. You got the dark blue. I was going to say sometimes you don't. I don't want to go black because it can be a bit too stark and a bit harsh. So for the stroke color, I was going to go dark purple or whatever color you'd call it, like something like this. which I might still do. The reason being that sort of purple color, it plays nice with the blue, the pinky red, and the yellow. So it complements all of them pretty nicely. You could make it a little bit lighter as well. But then actually, if you've got a blue on the website already, that was the only color looking at the existing site that I was thinking I can't, 4 colors for the main logo is a bit too much. I can't really place that. And it had the primary colors, you know, the blue, red, and yellow. But actually, that does give it a place. You see the difference there between these two? You got black and then that sort of blue. And again, that blue, that does look nice. Plays really nicely with the light blue. Much better than the black. And again, I think it just is another little nudge towards making it more fun. So we've rounded the corners, more fun. Added some color, more fun. We've changed the color of the main stroke. We've just made it less serious and more fun. I love the colors. I think it fits the website as well. Like we were going to just do this going in blind, so to speak, but since Kyle showed the website, it makes sense, really, you know. So it is pretty simple, but I think it's clean and it can work. There's obviously, if I were to do this properly, a million other ideas I'd explore. This would be one. I'd park it and I'd go back and explore all sorts of ideas, but flipping out, we've still got a business card to do yet. So for the business card, we could do it portrait or landscape. Portrait can sometimes be a bit different because everyone has landscape business cards. We're definitely going to round the corners off on the business card, even though it might cost extra slightly. It'll be nice, and obviously this I'm not paying for this, so it's fine. Font. I'm still stuck on the font though. So this is Lush. Happy with that. Stroke. We're going to add that as a global swatch as well. So I've got my palette here, which is lovely. Font. Fonty McFonty font. Yeah, see, that's just too rounded. It doesn't really match what we've done. But then you don't want to dump in something that's too... It's not the end of the world, but I just feel like there's a better font out there. And the color of this text is, of course, going to be the blue. Probably, maybe. I'm not sure. But it could be. Or we make the color of every single letter change. Oh, well, let's try another version, actually. We do another version. This will make it look a bit more mature. So you see, just by changing the stroke, we can change the whole perception of it. So we could even make it, you could make it look a touch more corporate. So color is very important. I do usually like logos that use 1 or 2 colors, but this is interesting, and it just feels like it fits a little bit more. But I need a font. I feel like the website is all over the place, or is it just me? Where is it? I think I've lost it. Where's the website gone? Oh, I mean, I think, yeah, from a UI point of view, there's a lot of things you could tweak here. I think if they're going for a comic book style, this sort of font here is quite good. A bit more condensed. I mean, yeah, there's loads of stuff I would tweak on here. That's nice. I like that. That's cool. But then again, I'm looking through this through the lens of someone who's spent like, the better part of 10 years doing web and UI design. So obviously I probably look at most websites and say, but I'd probably change that, and that. So I'm going to scrutinize this probably more than I think a lot of people would. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe that's another stream. Maybe we do that. We'll see. Oh, it's not finished. The website's a work in progress. Okay, cool. Yeah. Font. I mean, the font that they've got on the site. Um, if I was to just do Bebas in, was it caps? I don't know if it will really fit this style. Oh, I do like the A. The A's nice. It's got that sort of nice sort of curvature to it. Oh, yeah, this is a tricky one to assign a font to. This is quite nice. It's got those sharp edges, but it does have the sort of rounded parts of the A. What's that? Acumen. Oh, that's variable as well. Oh, that's the Airbnb font. I can't use that. Damn it. I was like, oh, that's quite nice. No, Dan. That font is legal action. Damn it. But I specifically like what they've done with the A sort of arching back on itself. So we could say that we're inspired by that approach. And whoa, what's going on there? The W is like a totally different weight. Yeah. I mean, we could actually, well, we could just pick a font and then customize it. Goodness me, I've got so many fonts. Yeah, we've got the sheet somewhere. I think I looked at it a minute ago. We've used that already, Kerry. So we're going for like the sort of rounded corners, not just rounded corners, like rounded elements. So the double story A here that we've got, where it kind of goes up twice, that and the G is probably where we're going to get the curves in. I wouldn't expect the W to be curvy. So if I can find one that's just mostly there, we can then customize the A. Yeah, so that's like a single story A. That's a double story. What's that one? Archivo. Any weights with that? Oh, okay. All right, we've got a few. I don't like the G though. I liked the sort of the curved spur here on the bottom of the A. And I liked the curvature of the Airbnb thing. So something like an A that curves back like that. And then like a little flick. That would be really nice if I could make that not look crap, like typographically good, and have the loop go into the spur. I don't know. Would that, maybe that wouldn't work, but something like that. And then I could round off the caps, cut that short so it's not too like over embellished. That obviously looks very Comic Sans cartoony, but like a cleaner version of that. Hello. when someone has a really long username, I never really know what else to say. Like normally I would address someone by their name. So when someone joins with a long username and says hi, I'm just like, hi, hello. Right. That's interesting. That's an interesting A. What's that? Aquatico. I don't not like it. Oh, it's caps only. The G would need tweaking, but I'm going to fling that over there because maybe that becomes useful. Hey, Kay, how's it going? I was going to say, how's your weekend been? But it's like Wednesday somehow. That's pretty good. Arborea. The A is slightly different, but it does work. It's clean, it's simple. Oh, there's a few different versions here. Yeah. Okay, yes. Arborea, maybe. I'm just throwing fonts all over the place now. Right, let's keep going. Oh, I like those little... No. I like the little flick on the A. Avenir. No, not fun enough. Azo Sands. That's sort of what I'm getting at, but like a bit more rounded. I'm trying to find... That's too rounded. I'm trying to find the right font. Because if I can't, it means that I'm going to find one that's close but not quite, and I'm going to have to redraw it. Which would be cool to watch, I think. But it does obviously take time. That is so nice as a signature font. Sitting outside with a salad and cup of tea, enjoying the sun. Oh, goodness me, that sounds lovely. Not so much the salad part. bit too healthy for me. I'm more of a chicken man myself, but you know, you do you. Oh yeah, it's got that nice A again. That sort of flicks up. A that flicks up or flicks down is really cool. That's interesting. I wonder what that would look like. Maybe, but probably not. What's that? Black sun. That's cool, but it's probably a little bit hard to read, I think. And when we're picking fonts, I think it's very easy to sort of fall into the trap of just picking something because you like it. This is what I'll always say when people post work in the Discord or whatever. If someone chooses a font for something and we're talking about it, I'll always say, why did you choose that font? You know, because the answer that I would be looking for personally is I chose it because, and then insert reasons related to either typography or the brief or something, rather than I thought it looked cool, you know? Like if someone says to me, why have you chosen a certain font? There's probably an element of it that's just, yeah, I like it or it looks cool. But there's also other reasons typographically or relating to the brief or the project why this font is suitable versus something else. And I think it's something you learn more as you design more, but it's something that's good to explain, because if that conversation does ever come up with a client, or if you bring it up and say, well, like, I was going to consider this, but this felt more suitable because of X, Y, and Z, then you can talk about it from a place of authority, which then builds that sort of trust, that credibility. It just reaffirms to somebody that you know what you're talking about, which is always a good thing. I think that's what I might end up having to do. Yeah, is customize it. If I can't get one that I really like, this is quite good. What's that? Crowbot. Oh, no weights. That's pretty cool. I think I like that actually. Got the bum-shaped U, which I was thinking it was going to end up being more of a jagged W. Sorry, W, not U. But I think I'll change a bit on the G, but we'll put that to one side. That's a bit different. That's a slab serif. I feel like bolder is going to be better. Remember, our audience is going to be 7-year-olds as well, or parents, 7-year-olds, and teenagers. See, sometimes with logos, you sometimes you put a lot of work into the type, and other times it's more in the mark, and you just pick a font, and it's like, it works. And then sometimes you end up like this, just going through loads of fonts, just searching for that perfect one. This is quite cool. CY. Ah, no weights. It's a nice G though. This one's probably my favorite so far. Maybe Arborea. This is nice. Acumen. It's variable as well, which is very good. Oh man. I'm just going to try customizing this and see how it could look. So we're just going to try and snip off part of the A. See if we can. Well, what about this bit here? I don't like how that kind of curves in, so I would block that off. And for this bit down here, you could round it off. You can see it's very easy to muck things up from a type point of view as well. So this bit here, I'd probably bring that up. What's this one again? CY. It's quite similar to this. We're going to have to settle on one soon. It might look similar to something. I've got no idea. I know what you mean. I feel like the color palette's definitely probably been used all over the place. It's not Slack, is it? No, not Slack. Or Monday.com. Bloody ad that I always get. Similar colors, totally different design. I know what you mean, though. This design's probably not, like, it's probably been done before. The whole Rubik's Cube thing, it's probably been done. You get lots of, like, platform and task management software that kind of, you know, does something like this. And the logo will be like that, and they'll have different colors for each box. Oh, man. I mean, maybe something like that is, maybe that is more of the right play. We could always try it. I wasn't sure if it was too friendly. I just want to sound like it's too friendly. It's too approachable. The logo has a cool G in the left face of that block. Was it intentional? I'm going to say yes. It was totally intentional. What G are you talking about, Kai? if you could just tell me on the sly. I mean, that would be the block, the separation of the blocks was totally random. But yeah, if we could make that look like a G, that would be flipping brilliant, actually. Okay, hang on. Back it up. Back it up. Kai's entered the chat now. So we could do some sort of G. How are we going to do that? Like, no, wrong tool down. We need an extra row and a column, really, don't we? Oh no, now my brain's going. This could be magical. Kai, what have you done? Sometimes you get an idea like that and you just have to explore it. Where's my original gone? It might be a bit much, but I got to at least try it now because otherwise curiosity will eat me alive. Okay. Right, let's get some lines and just get these back in position, and then we're going to have to add another row and column in there. I'm probably doing this the harder way, but it's pretty easy once you use keyboard shortcuts. Everything becomes a lot easier. And then we need another line in there. Distribute them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need another vertical one as well. Like this. Get rid of that. Take all this, reflect tool it, which is the tool that I now use because of Kai. Never used to use that tool. Flipping brilliant. So then we'll drag this one here. And oh, Illustrator, love you. Snapping in place, beautiful. Reflect, copy. I didn't use that tool for years. Right. Now what if we G this up? G. And then what would it be? Like that. And then that. Not entirely sure what I've done. Does that look good? I don't know. Let's let's put the yellow in. I mean, it's something. It's definitely a thing. I can't tell if it's hurting my brain or not. If it's a bit like optical illusion-y. Hang on, right. So you were looking at this bit here. Where's my, here we go. Grab this one. Right, let me read this really slowly so my brain can understand it. The left face of the cube, right, so we're talking here. Upper line, then down the left side of the blue rectangle. Which one's the blue one? Then along the bottom left line, then up the red block and into the left between the red and yellow blocks. I think I probably don't understand what you mean. So are we talking like this? Or stopping there? GameCube came to my mind as well. Is that a bit closer to what you meant, Kai? Oh, God. Only the left face of the cube. You keep starting on the top face, only the left face. Right. Okay, we're going to have to do baby steps. So just this face here, yeah? Just that left elevation. Start on the top line of the left face of the cube, which is here. Like that. Can anyone else see what Kai's referring to specifically, or is it just me? Which is entirely possible. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. I just don't see it myself. The reason why is because that's fine, but then this vertical bit kind of mucks it up. So I wonder if there's a way to get rid of that. What was it? Let's have a go. Oh, that's the wrong version there. Whoops. So So do a G round here. So what? This bit, yeah, that's cut short. But then, could I get rid of that one? Doesn't really work. Hmm. I wonder if there's still an idea here with this G that doesn't look as bonkers as the other one. How else could we do G? What if we started all the way around here? Some sort of, it's definitely some sort of illusion. Anyway, I think we'll stick with this for now because so many reasons. But we do need a font and we need to hurry up. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the business card. So we'll do 85 by 55, sort of pretty typical for the UK. It's that kind of credit card size. And I'm going to make it white. So what I'm going to do actually is set the background to be like, I'm going to just make a massive rectangle. This will be like space to play on. And then we've got the white card here. I'm going to round the corners off as well. So the card itself is a little bit more playful. We'll chuck this logo in, but we can always adjust it as we need to, or like drop in the new one. Portrait or landscape? Oh, okay. Right, let's jump onto the business card. Just need some music. Right, let's get rid of you for a second. We can get rid of you. We need a name. Let's bring this off screen a second, just so I can safely go on the contact screen. All right. Kyle, do you want me to? I'm happy to put your. You don't know. You don't want your face, do you? Are you happy for me to use your name on the business card? I just figured because this was your idea, but I could put some. I can make up a name if you want. It's entirely up to you. We could do portrait. It's a bit different, isn't it? Although actually, I think for the idea for the business card mock-up I've got in mind, I think to make it legible, it would probably look a bit better landscape. It'll make a bit more sense in a minute. I don't know if Kyle's still here or not. We'll see. If not for now, we'll put Kyle. We'll just put Kyle Smith for now, and then if Kyle comes back. Acumen variable. Yeah, that's fine. You know, any sort of clean sans serif typeface is going to be pretty good for a business card. Modern, readable. We'll just put designer and Illustrator for now. And contact information. So we'll make up a phone number. Plus, I just put it in the UK format. 456 789. And we need an email. So kyle.smith@gowerph.com. Setting up a standard business card is pretty straightforward. So I think sometimes it's trying to make it a bit more interesting. There's a few different ways we could do this. We could do double-sided, which would be cool. And then we could have this on the other side. How can we make it interesting, though? Could do something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe. Oh, no. This might work really well as a pattern. How would I set this up? Could I repeat this? We've got to expand the paint group. Grid. How would this work? Yeah, grid type, brick by row.
Hi.
Oh, hello, child.
Look what I got from piano.
What'd you get? Oh, nice. Let's have a look. The Music Teachers Board certifies that Leonardo White has achieved the standard required to be awarded MTV Entry Level Award in Music Performance. Pre-grade higher. Nice. Merit. Well done.
Thanks.
Has been awarded 4 credits at entry level. I've got no idea what that means, but it sounds amazing. 4 credits. Do you get to spend them?
Hello.
Hello. Mark Kessel. Oh.
It smells like clean washing.
That's amazing. Oh, you absolute legend. Oh, that's a nice surprise. There we go. Look at this. Look at this pattern.
I'll show you what I got.
No.
I got an award for the best bread.
Oh, is that sourdough?
Sourdough.
Slide into my face.
I went for a picnic.
Ooh, tasty.
I did actually. These are insane.
What's insane?
They're these dates
Yeah.
that literally taste like sour apple, like Hubba Bubba.
Well, why haven't you given me one?
They are insane. I saved you.
No.
Like, they are mental. Like,
Mental dates.
yeah,
Give
like
me
a medula date.
Yeah.
But it's got this, like, weird white powder stuff on.
You don't ask what the weird white powder is.
But it's, I don't know, the ingredients, it just says it's all natural. Chicory, root fibre, vegetable fat, coconut.
Oh, it says
Natural
it's
flavouring.
it says it's all natural, so I don't know, the weird white stuff on it, but
How insane is that?
oh, that's sour.
That's sour.
Whoa.
But it's like apple. You wouldn't know that's a date. So good.
My God. It's got the texture of a date and the taste of an apple.
Yeah, they had loads of different flavours, and I was like, I'm in a sour apple mood.
Is that what you said?
Yep.
You didn't say that, did you?
No.
What flavour would you like? Well, I'm in a sour apple mood today. I'm going to make the pattern a little bit bigger because it's just when it's too repeated too much, it is it is too much.
It is too much.
A wee bit too much, but we'll just make sure it fills the whole thing. And we could keep it that color, or you could make it one color, or you could do something else with it that's just equally as bonkers / fun. We could make it, yeah, like a different color, or everyone gets a random business card color. Maybe you get a yellow one, or a pink one, red one, or a blue one. Or maybe different team members in different roles get assigned different colors. You need some white space in that, do you reckon? I mean, we could do that. I mean, that looks cool as well, actually. Just on the vertical, or you could go horizontal as well. There's loads of different ways you can do it. I love this pattern tool. Actually, I'm sort of, yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree with you, actually. That's just a bit much. What I might change is, because we could do, I mean, I might be overthinking it a bit now, but you could have one red, one yellow, one blue, but I think I'm probably overthinking it. For now, anyway, we could always change that. No, I do like that, actually. We're going to make sure the spacing's the same, though. This, honestly, you do have the pattern feature here, and this is the old sort of pattern doodah, and there's a few more settings you get, but this one is just so easy to edit directly on the canvas. You can just freely drag it around. It just makes it too easy, really. So let's oh, I've got rid of the white, haven't I? Let's do that again. Yeah, there we go. And you could do that like a glossy finish or something and make it look really nice. That would be cool. Yeah, or delete random cubes. You could have this one with yellow and then get rid of all the color there. I love that idea as well. Actually, no, I really like that idea because, again, it reinforces the building blocks side of things. The parts that make up a whole, you know. So how would I do that now? So, okay, well, what I would do is go back in. So we're going to have to create one instance of this pattern. So we're going to do this. And then I've got to try and make sure I get this positioned right. So this one here, we're going to set these to none. If you can't change the color, just add a random color and then set it to none. This one here is going to be red. So we'll get rid of the rest. Just throw in a random color. Keep the red ones. And then for here, we've got blue. / on the keyboard, by the way, is how you set the current fill or stroke to none. It's, again, a shortcut I didn't use for forever, and it's just changed my life. It's so good. So there we go. We got 3. So I think now we should be able to go and repeat them, grid. And we can then flip them as well, some of them, and make it feel a bit more random. If we wanted to, we don't have to flip anything. It's just a bit more uniform. Yeah, oh yeah, there we go. This is flipping cool. That's really cool. I love that. It's like a non-literal way of showing the different aspects of what the business does. We need some white there. Yeah, and we've got the colour in there. Yeah, there's lots of ways we could do that. That's probably my favourite so far, if I'm honest. So let's bring this down, paste that in, and then make it fill the whole thing. Right, how am I going to get this in the middle? So I kind of want it sort of balanced top and bottom. So I think what I need to do is maybe give myself a bit more, paste this in, swap the fill to a stroke, and then now I can adjust the position here. So I want to line the center of my shape up with the center of this shape here, something like that. Yeah, so it's sort of balanced left and right. So this is what I mean now. You see there's a bit coming in there, a bit coming in there. It felt like the top was cut off, like mostly cut off, and the more of the bottom was showing. And then I've now got one sat square in the center as well. And that looks way better. That looks so much better. Yes, Dan. Well done. Well done, you cheeky badger.
And the flower pot man.
Oh, I used to love Bill and Ben. Did anyone else watch Bill and Ben, the
Yes.
Flower Pot Men, when they were younger? Are we anyone from the Poddington Peas generation here?
I fancied Bill.
What, the Flower Pot Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
And the sunflower. I fancied that as well.
You just flipping fancy everything, don't you? You fancied a sunflower and a flower pot man, and you settled for a ginger. Life's a funny one, isn't it? Flobber lobby weed. Weed. Um, right, let's make this. Obviously, this isn't CMYK values, so if we're going to do a business card to print, we would need to do all that fluff, but we're not going to worry about that now. That's not really important. Not, anyway, because, well, it's not, for what we're doing here, it's not the focus. In terms of layout, I like the fact it's two-sided as well, because we can do something really cool with this. I'll show you in Photoshop. How are we going to lay this out? So we could do that. Let's just do a few versions. Let's just do a few versions. We could... I mean, on the back, I'm kind of actually tempted to do something slightly different. So if I expand the... Where are you? Not that. I need to expand the pattern. And then can I get rid of the ones in the middle? Get rid of these three. And then put the word Gower in the middle. That would be lovely. It doesn't really fill the space. And I don't know what. Yeah, I like that idea. This particular font, though, doesn't really fill that space as well. Unless we got rid of two of them. We could... where is it? Yeah, there we go. God, it's so hard trying to select everything. We could get rid of two. And then I'd have to move this so it sits centrally. And then move this centrally here. Oh yeah, that is pretty much bang on. Nice. So then this one becomes a clipping mask. Then I've got, yeah, then I could put the word Gower in there and it sits centrally nicely, which is cool. And I can make it bigger. It's not like really necessary because you got it on that side as well, but it just looks pretty cool, I think. It fits that space nicely. Yeah, I was saying, Carl, do you want? I want to use your real name. I was going to put your surname in. I've got the website up with your page, but I've obviously got it off camera. But I just wanted to double check that you were happy for me to put your name in, your surname. I've got your job title that I can pop in as well. And I've obviously made up contact information. But yeah, you let me know. Yeah, I think so. I think the I mean, yeah, looking back, I think this one was a lot, right? It was a lot to look at visually. If it was one color, you'd probably get away with it, like if a linear color and a stroke or whatever. This one's a bit better. This one just breaks it up and it sort of puts Gower at the center and all the pieces. The things that Gower does, all those skills you're going to learn are all spread out around the outside. Oh, is that what you meant about delete random cubes? Yeah. Right. I'm still not 100% on this font here, but that's fine. We can always revisit that. Business card layout. Right. So we've got our information here. We've got Kyle's made up contact information website. The thing is, we've not got loads and loads of space, although this text here is actually quite big. What's that, 13 point? That's still pretty big for a business card. You know, you could definitely get that down to 10 or 11, and it's still more than legible at a small size. So typically what I would do in terms of hierarchy is, and this isn't like a hard and fast rule, but like a standard business card, you have the name, nice and big, job title, a bit smaller, and then you've got the contact information, which there's usually a lot more of, a little bit smaller than that. You don't want it packed together too tight unless you're going for a sort of a deliberately condensed style. And I think with business cards, this is quite standard and it works. It's brilliant. It's functional. Some people might say it looks a bit boring, and that's fine. So I think maybe in the name of creativity, we could try and find a few ways to make it a bit more interesting. So here we could put icons. We could put icons for the different things. So what we got, phone, email, and website. Which we could do, or we could do something a little bit more like the blocks we've got here. This might look a bit rubbish, but I was going to do something like this. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Just sort of pulling into that color palette a little bit. Let's try icons as well, just to see how it looks. So phone, I mean, obviously you've got the old phone icon that this, it looks more like a banana. That doesn't look like a banana. That we'll get rid of that right now. But you get what I mean. You've got the old school telephone that I don't think anyone has anymore. Modern day phone. let's just do. It's a bit different if you've got a phone number and a mobile contact number, but I think we're just going to use, we'll just use a phone for now. Something super simple. Boop. All right, there we go. We'll stick that at the top. Lovely. And font color, we'll sample that. No fill color. So we've got phone, and then we'll go email. So we're just going to resize this box here. We're just going to grab square, rotate it, get rid of the top, then center this to here and just shrink it in, round that off slightly, and there we go. We've got a lovely envelope. And then for the web, you could do a globe, but maybe we'll do a mouse pointer instead. See how that looks. A bit different, isn't it? Just shrink that up there. Adjust the size, round off the corners. If you want to learn all this stuff, by the way, I cover a lot of this in my course. I've got an Illustrator course linked at the top of the chat, dansky.com. My Photoshop course dives into a lot of stuff we're going to do in a minute, which is the Photoshop side of things, the business card mockups, all that. That would be the Photoshop course. But all this stuff, this vector icon business, this is all Illustrator. So there we go. So once you want, this is all really like, this is like the basic tools to create all this stuff, but it's just understanding like how they work. They're so much more underutilized, and I didn't utilize them properly for years either. So that's why I put a big emphasis on learning them. You don't need to learn all these tools. You just need to learn to do like 90% of stuff, just the core tools, but learn them properly. Like, yeah, even like the scale tool and the reflect tool that I just ignored for literally decades. Well, not decades, but you know what I mean. Right, the shape of the icons make the spacing look inconsistent now, which isn't ideal. So solution for that is we space them apart further. That's one solution. Another solution is we actually put them in a box of some description to introduce structure, but that does take up more space. Or it's the phone one that's the problem. Or we could make this one a bit taller. We'll deliberately make you square, like a square envelope. We could even add, actually, let's flip this round just so the bottom just feels a little bit empty now. So what we'll do is we'll scale this like so. There we go. Scale that there. Bring it down. And then we're just going to trim off some of the excess. So we've made the icon taller. And then just having these other little envelope details down the bottom, just fill it out a bit more. It does look a little bit odd. Maybe. Maybe it looks a bit odd. I think I need to bring this down, actually. I think that's the problem. Yeah, that just needs to... It just needs to occupy a little bit more space, a bit lower down. And then I can bring this one in. Yes, I think that's the one. Yeah, and I could muck around with that forever, but that's a tolerable icon. Maybe this one here, the shape is throwing it off at the bottom. So we'll try a globe. We will try a globe. Just scale it in there. And then we're going to go down. There we go. That shape might work a little better. Yeah, so a few different icons we could put in there. Let's make sure the words are spaced apart. So slightly off there. This envelope does feel very top heavy. I'm gonna have to I can't. It's just got like, it's like me. I've got a massive forehead. This envelope just has a massive forehead. So we're just gonna just bring it down a pinch. There we go. Just make it feel a bit more ordinary. Does he reply? Absolutely not. This is a strictly no interaction stream. Speaking is prohibited. Yeah, so sometimes the icons, they just, you know, it's like a visual anchor. It makes it a split second faster to just identify it, and it just creates a bit more separation for all of them when you just got like words everywhere. I think the angle of the arrow was throwing it off. It made the spacing a bit weird. That icon is fine for now. You know, I'm sure we could do a better website icon, but the envelope was a bit of a big block, yeah. I think actually for spacing, I could even make it a little. I could possibly bring it down a tiny bit. It was really just to fix the spacing, but I think actually now by making it a bit more normal, the spacing now, as long as it optically looks balanced between the different icons, that's what matters. So we'll space that up a little bit. So the kind of the margin round here is consistent as well. So this is kind of how I think in terms of margins. So I'll just quickly draw this. You can see how my brain is working. 1, 2, 3. Go here. 1, 2, 3. Zoop. 1, 2, 3. Just drag that across. And then down here. 1, 2, 3. So then with these as the margins, what I would do is then I would just grab this and just nudge it in a bit and then shuffle it up. So the text, less so the icons, but the text sits on that margin. And then over here, you know, with the text, probably just nudge that back in a little bit. So if I just kind of turn these off for a second, you can see below, we've got the one below where the text is just kind of thrown on there. And then you've got the one above where we've got the icons, the text sizing and the position and the layout is just a bit more considered. So you've got a consistent margin on the left and bottom. Here you've got left and then the bottom's just a lot bigger. So it might be a personal choice, but for me personally, I try to sort of, where I can create order, I try to. So it just makes everything look a little bit less chaotic. Yeah, honestly, the icon thing, the 90-minute icon course, by the time you've gone through I think there's 40 in there, different icons. They're like really quick bite-sized videos. It's these are the tools that you need to use here. So you've got your main selection tool, your basic shapes. The direct selection tool is what edits things, individual points. You've got the scale tool, which is great because you can scale things like this and still keep them symmetrical. Or you can scale stuff up and down. R for the rotate tool, so you can quickly rotate things. You've got these control points where you can round off corners. This is probably the biggest thing because you can make all sorts of interesting shapes. You know, if you wanted to create like a shield, for example, you know, you could do something like this. No pen tooling, just basic shapes. And then let's knock these two in. Bosh. Trim off the excess. Then you've got a shield. And that's one of many shield shapes. It's all just like a solid understanding of the basic stuff. You know, loads of these tools down here, these are really advanced. Some of them I never even use. Like I can use them, but I just never do. And then you can just, it's all the speed comes with not just knowing the tools, but the keyboard shortcuts as well. So this left hand here is just operating loads of keyboard shortcuts. So it just enables me to work really quickly. But yeah, it's just a solid understanding of the key tools and features and keyboard shortcuts. And then just do it enough that the speed will sort of come over time. I mean, there's loads of places. Social media, people per hour. That's where I started getting clients, peopleperhour.com. Upwork, I've not tried it myself, but Upwork can be very useful. Right, so I'm still not sold on that font, but we're going to run with this so we could just get the next bit done before running out of time. So I'm going to I'm going to take a second. I'm going to take a deep breath.
20 minutes.
20
minutes before football.
20 minutes, right. 20 minutes, 20 minutes. All right. All right. It definitely looks like an egg. We'll park that for now. Prep. Okay. Actually, no. We'll set up a new file because I want it to be a specific size. So we're going to go nice and big, high res. So yeah, I'll do nice chunky size. Dansky. Right, first thing we're going to do is going to throw in a background color. And we're going to build this up into a mock-up. And we're going to make one side really glossy as well, which is going to look sexy. So we've got to grab our design. Right, this is the 3D bit. We're not going to go into dimension because I think we'll be fine without it. We're going to grab this and I'm going to go 3D extrude and bevel. My 3D panel's too long. It doesn't actually fit on the screen. No extrusion, but we are going to freeform rotate this. So we're going to have one card like, it'll be like this. And then the other one, this is going to be the back without the contact information. That'll be behind. And we're going to is the one I want. This one. So just imagine this is going to become a business card mock-up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try expanding both these. And ooh, can I get that shape? Let's try and expand. Hmm. Right, it's not giving me the geometry, which isn't ideal. But let's okay. It's alright, there's loads of ways around this. We'll get rid of it up here, and then we'll use classic. We'll see if that works. So again, no extrusion. We don't want any shading. Yeah, this will work. This will work. Okay. In fact, I'll check this works. So we'll go to this one. We'll expand it. And there you go. You see, I get the geometry this way. That's what I want. That's important. And we'll go in here. We're just going to change the rotation. Might have to go and tinker with this a little bit more. It's a little bit harder than the being able to just grab the point and edit it, but at least we can match it closely to what we're doing here. That'll do for now. Right, let's try this. So we'll expand both of these. And we can select them both. We'll give them both a white color. Select them, copy them. We're going to paste them in Photoshop as layers. And we should have these as shapes. So we'll call this front, or no, we'll call it top and bottom. It's a bit easier. Or you can call it, no, you can call it front and back in relation to the business card. The Discord link is on dansky.com. Dansky.com, and scroll down and you'll find the community. It's called Community. It's on the homepage. Right, we'll make that a slightly different color. So, what we need to do now is we need to, this is very important, we've got to make a rectangle with the same ratio as the business card we made in Illustrator. So I'm going to go with these dimensions and then just scale it up so it's nice and big. Bigger than the business card here. I'm going to call this front artwork. And then we're going to convert that to a smart object. So now we can go inside this and we can drop in our artwork. We don't need the white background because we'll just add that in here. You could bring it in as layers if you want to be able to edit it here, but smart object, I'm just going to bring that in as. And if we save this and go back, you can see we now have this here. And now what we've got to do is distort this. Command or Control T to enter free transform, and then Command or Control T again, and we're going to distort this. We cover all this in my Photoshop course, by the way. Mockups, shadows, surfaces, business cards, the whole shebang. We do a lot of photography stuff in the Photoshop course, but it's mostly design. It's not just photos. That's got a whole module on photography and photo editing. And then you've got photo manipulation, beginner all the way through to advanced. But it's my courses are both coming from the perspective of a designer, you know. Lots of different types of design that you can make as well. Right, then we're going to add a clipping mask. Alt or Option and click. And now we need the other side. So we want it without the rounded corners, actually. So let's just grab that. Oh, I should have made I should have duplicated the rectangle, but it's fine. We'll do another one. It doesn't really matter. And we'll call this back artwork. Smart object. Paste the artwork inside. Reposition and resize. So a smart object is basically a document inside a document, and they're flipping magic. They really are. So we'll do that. Save and close. And let's just make that white as well. And then just like the last one, we're just going to freely distort this to fit this here. And if you do find the end result does look a bit distorted, there's different ways you can create this. You know, you could create these shapes in Photoshop, but you just stretch it out. If it looks a bit squished, just stretch it out a little bit to account for that distortion with the perspective. And you can also create the business card shape in Adobe Dimension. And if you want to mess around with cameras and perspectives, you could actually create it in there as well. There we go. We've got our business cards floating in the air. Raquel is the briefkeeper. Oh. Right, and now we get to the really cool bit, which is adding shadows. And we're going to have to speed run this because I'm running out of time. So new layer at the bottom, we're going to use black. Oh, there's so many different ways we could do this. So this bit here is closer to the surface than this bit and this bit. So the shadow is going to be a little bit more pronounced. So we'll try a custom shape. And we'll see how this turns out. We'll try this. We'll call it shadow. Smart object, filter, blur gallery, tilt shift. We're going to start this not in focus because it's off the surface. So it's already going to be blurred. But it'll get more blurred over here. So something like that. And this still isn't blurred enough, so we're just going to layer on a little bit of Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur is a little bit lighter than tilt shift in terms of performance, so we can soften it without any sort of hit to performance. Add a layer mask, gradient tool, default black to white gradient, and then we're just gonna something like this. Something like this. Adjust the midpoint. We could even squish the shape down. And then if you want to, you can go in and mask it. And getting this sort of shape right does take a bit of practice sometimes. And then for the other one, because it's so far up, you could even just softly brush something in. And just round it off. Just sort of sculpt it a little bit. Yeah, we really are speed running this now. The shadow would take a... It does look a bit weird there. It'd probably take a bit more time to get right. Maybe we could just fill it in a bit. I'd use a really low value. She knows, making it worse. No, we'll leave that for now, but it would need to be filled in a bit more. And then for this just looks too perfectly white at the minute. So we could add an exposure adjustment layer and clip it, bring it down a little bit. And then use the gradient tool again, just to add a really subtle graduation. So it's not just flat color anymore, it just gives it like a little bit of depth. Now this one's a bit different because it's underneath, so the top one is casting a shadow on it, and it might be, you know, double exposure. Yeah, we could do that next. I was playing around with that the other day. It's good fun. So we've already got the shadow underneath, but if we're going to make it reflective as well, so underneath, we'll add a clipping mask, we'll darken it down, and we'll just brush a bit of that in. Just under there. And maybe just make it a little bit less pronounced. And we're going to then copy this shape, this front shape here. We're going to do this. Let's try this. We'll paste... No, let's make a new layer. Fill it with white. Move it down onto this one. Clip it in there. See if we can use a blending mode. No, probably not. And then we can adjust the opacity and you can make things look a little bit more reflective. So we'll call this reflection 1 smart object. And then we'll add a blur. This depends how reflective it is. If it's super crazy reflective, the blur would be less. If it's more reflective, if it's less reflective and a little bit more towards matte, then the reflection would be a lot more blurry. And if you've got like a dark business card color, like you'll see this a lot more. So you might make it a bit more subtle. And again, yeah, I think we've got the graduation here. And these skills actually that you use for this are the same stuff that we do with photo manipulation. We're using the brush tool, exposure adjustment layers, all that stuff. Yeah, there's a few different ways you could do shadows. I think I've done a video actually. I've got a Photoshop video on shadows specifically. This is like this is the sort of typical shadow. Ooh, I've cut the bottom off there. This is your very, very typical shadow, which to be fair, sometimes just does work. So you could do something like that. And then over here, just add like a longer one and blur it again. Scale you out. Up a bit. And then the background, we've still got full control over this, so we can change the color to anything. We could go yellow if we wanted to. Just make it a bit more interesting. Yeah, the shadows, honestly, the shadows are the kind of thing that I would spend a bit more time on. Or you could mock up the business cards like this in Dimension, add the lighting, and then see how the realistic shadows look if you're not sure. Especially if it's something like unique. This is like an easy one you can throw in for now, but I think it doesn't always make sense to have that shadow. This one here feels off. Yeah, we could just turn that off. And you could go and add texture as well. I don't think I've got any presets installed, but you've got the pattern overlay. If you find like a card texture or a certain paper stock material, you can add this in there and blend it in, unless you want it clean. Right now, everything does feel too clean and artificial, so I'm going to add a grain adjustment layer. When you create shapes yourself, you always get like things will look unnatural because they're just perfectly clean, whereas things in the real world aren't perfectly clean. So we're adding the grain there, and we're adding it here as well. And then I would actually soften the edge as well. You might want to do this or not. There's a few different ways you could do it. Sometimes just applying a blur, it just goes from perfectly sharp and unrealistic to a little bit more realistic. Maybe just a basic, just maybe that. It applies it there as a smart object anyway. And you can see it just goes from perfectly sharp everything to slightly softer edge. In fact, the edge we might need to do. Oh, there's one thing we missed off actually that makes this totally look not real. And that is that we have no depth to the cards. So we need to add this. We're going to call this back edge. We're going to make it a darker color of the color it is, and we're going to nudge it down by 1 pixel. We're going to duplicate and nudge it down by 2 pixels. Duplicate, nudge it down by 3 pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's too thick. Depends how thick you want your card to be. And you can create actions for this. I think I did one the other day, actually.
Dad,
Yes.
boys need to be at purple.
Oh, God. Okay, right. We're wrapping up. We're going to finish this, though. We could make the edge of the card if we want to do something really cool, a different color, but I think we'll probably just go for white, or like a really light color. So we'll add that in there. So the card's now got a bit of thickness to it. The white is, the yellow, sorry, is a little bit wild. So let's go for this, and then here as well. We're going to do the same for this one. We're going to go front. Right, so we're going to... Yeah, there we go. Paste the color in, duplicate, 1, 2, 1, duplicate, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I've muddled that up a little bit, but they look pretty similar. And it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And it could probably dial back the dark side of it there a little bit. Doesn't have to be like super pronounced. And then the background, the last thing we're going to do is the background is a solid color. Now, if you've got lighting in this, it's studio lit, you're going to get a brighter area and you're going to get like some sort of fall off or a surface. So actually what we're going to do is go gradient. Basic. And we're going to set this to, we'll go a darker gray. So you could just do a diagonal, top bright in the corner to darker in the other corner, but I hope this works. I hope this works. Yeah, there we go. That should look pretty good. And then we bring the midpoint all the way down here. So it kind of makes it look like there is like a surface area. And then we can go in and just dial the gray back a little bit, just so it's not as dull gray. So the difference we've got now is completely flat, which you might prefer. And then you have like a little bit of depth in the background. And there we go. So obviously that is like speed running the whole process. Then it is a case of refining it, fixing the shadows, lighting, reflections, any other stuff. But that is like a speed run of the mock-up process. So yeah, I think there's a few things are going to change, but actually pretty happy with that for what? Hour and 45? No, wait, what? 5 o'clock? 2 hours. Shit, no, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Dang, that ended up being a lot longer.
People are confused.
Why is everyone confused?
Tell him to read the chat.
I'm reading the chat. What's cracking?
I'm in pain.
Sorry, I got to take the boys to football in a sec, so we speed ran the last bit there. But yeah, we got a logo, we got a business card, and we got a mock-up done as well. What's the question? Fire the question at me. You got.
I think it's about
2 minutes.
The dark shadow. No.
Which one?
Drop. Can you explain to us why the drop shadow of the top card is white?
Drop shadow of the top card. The edge here. The shadow is white. Which shadow are we talking about? This one down here or up here? This bit here. No, I think it's because it's a lighter card. It's meant to be, so you need more work on it, but it's meant to be like a reflection of the top card on the bottom card. So imagine this bottom card is like a super glossy material, and you get this reflection on it. So it does, admittedly, it does need a little bit of work. but you can do something like this. In fact, yeah, this is one bit I missed out. So you see what I mean with a different color, with like a darker color, or if you've got a solid block color, you get like a little bit of a reflection coming off the bottom. But we are speedrunning this now. Like,
Yeah, 'cause you need to go. By the way.
yeah, I've got versions where this works, but it's just trying to cram it into like 20 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much the process, with obviously refinement and tweaking. Oh, goodness me. Right, that was a lot. I gotta go. If you want to enroll in my courses, then I have Photoshop and Illustrator and all that good stuff on dansky.com. This has been a lot of fun, actually. I've really enjoyed this, and now I have to go because I'm incredibly late. Yeah, bye!